Hi folks, this is Chris Voss from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Coming here with a blog post I want to share with you. This has a lot to do with entrepreneurism and life. There's an old saying by Henry Ford that I love. It says, don't find fault, find a remedy. Okay? So that's a real important aspect in being self-actualized, as being an entrepreneur, at being in life, in focusing on the fact that you're not complaining, that you're not spending a lot of time focusing on the facts that and things that aren't working, but you're focusing on how to resolve them. Does that make sense? One thing that has always struck me as interesting, and I took this from Goodfellas. If you remember the movie Goodfellas, there's a point where one of the main character's wives talks about her friend who, when the FBI shows up in her home to search it, she spits at them on her own floor in her own house, on her own property. And she makes the analogy that's kind of a questionable insult as to who's really being insulted if you're spitting on your own home. And I think that's an interesting point in what I'm going to share with you here. People that complain incessantly about their life, about what's going on and everything that they do, they made the choices to get into those situations. Whether you realize it or not, subconsciously or consciously, you made the choices to go down the road you did. And to do those and then complain about it, you're almost calling yourself stupid in your ability to see what those roads would probably eventually lead to. And usually, most times, you kind of knew what the risk was and the reward was, and you knew you were taking the risk for the reward. So in the end, complaining about something, in my mind, this is in my mind, makes one look really stupid, because it tells me that you didn't have the foresight to see these things coming down the pike. And number two, it tells me that you don't know how to resolve them, so all you do is know how to complain. That, or you're too lazy to resolve them, and all you know to do is complain. I don't like complainers. I like people who have resolutions. They come up with ways to resolve and fix things. Anyone can be an armchair cowboy. Anyone can be a backseat driver, and a lot of people do. A lot of people don't do things because it's easier to sit around and watch people do things and then complain about how they're doing things while you're sitting around eating Cheetos or something and picking them out of your belly button. I'm being funny, of course. The concept, though, is don't complain about stuff. Don't bring me problems, bring me resolutions. The thing I always used to tell my employees is the same thing. Don't bring me their problems, bring me the problems with the resolutions. Okay? I don't want to know what's broken, I want to know how to fix it. So that's a real great thing to teach your employees as an entrepreneur. Teach your employees to come up with the attitude of not coming to you with all the problems and hoping that you'll resolve them. Teach them to think for themselves. Teach them to be a learning organization, if you would, where they come up with their own ideas. Once they discover there's problems, they figure out how to resolve them. It's going to save you a lot of hassle as being an entrepreneur in the future, trust me. If you can teach your people to be come from that mindset, as opposed to coming with you with every single problem and you having to solve every single problem, you're going to go mad. So teach your employees that moniker. I used to tell my employees, whenever they come to me with stuff, I'd be like, okay, so what's the resolution? Okay, don't come to me with problems unless you have a resolution or you have some ideas that we can work from, because this is your department, this is your area and field, and you're supposed to be the pro at this. So in the end, teach that to your employees. I also think that would be a great thing for people, not only in life, but people maybe that are parents. Maybe you should teach your children, don't bring me the problem, bring me the resolution. Throw that at them and see what looks they give you. But maybe it's important because you'll teach them to be self-actualized and resolving their own issues, instead of being, mommy, fix this, fix that, fix this, and you're just the fixer running around with your head chopped off all day long. And then your kids grow up and they don't have any way to resolve their problems. They create a bunch of problems and end up living with you for the next 10 years. I'm joking, but that does happen, I think. Other than that, teach your kids maybe to be self-actualized. Don't be complainers. When you complain, you're basically saying, I'm a moron because I either didn't think this through correctly, or I make poor decisions, or whatever. It reflects on you. That's my point. So work on getting results. Work on getting resolution to your problems. Don't sit around and look at faults. Find the resolutions. Okay? Thanks for coming by the chrisvossshow.com. Bye-bye.